In a distant village, nestled between quiet hills, where the evening sky blended into the earth, casting a red glow on everything beneath the towering ancient trees, there were whispers of spirits from long ago. Time seemed to stand still in this place, where the secrets of the past hung in the air like a heavy fog. Here lived a woman named Gigi. Her beauty was not just in her smooth skin or enchanting smile, but in her deep, knowing eyes that held mysteries never before revealed. Every time she smiled, her laughter flowed like a fresh stream, washing away all dryness. Yet there was an undertone of melancholy, a loneliness that only she could feel. Despite her beauty, which enchanted everyone around her, Gigi remained alone. She had never found a worthy partner, someone who could build a future and purpose with her. She longed for a deeper connection, more than anything else. She was tired of waiting, tired of living a life without clear meaning. Gigi knew that someday her destiny would have to be decided, but she couldn't just sit back and let fate take its course. One night, as the faint moonlight bathed the village, Gigi decided to visit Asha, the village's mysterious woman, who was said to have the ability to communicate with ancestors, the spirits of those long gone. Asha lived in a hut hidden deep within the forest, a place where no one dared venture at night. Her house always emitted a strange scent of incense and dried herbs, filled with unusual objects that only those in the know could understand. Ancient scrolls and torn books piled around the dark room, like whispers of the souls brought back to life. "You have come to seek me in the dead of night, which means you are ready to hear the prophecy," Asha said, her voice echoing in the cold room. Her gaze was sharp as a blade, yet it held an indescribable softness. "Gigi, your fate is not yours alone. It belongs to this entire village. The prophecy has been passed down through generations. The man who fathers your child will be the one to lead this village. He will not only rule, but will bring boundless prosperity, making barren lands fertile, turning fields into bountiful crops, and rivers flowing with life." The prophecy struck Gigi like a bolt of lightning, tapping into a deep part of herself she had never known existed. She immediately understood that the child she bore would shape the fate of the village, that this child would change everything. But how could she find the man who was meant to fulfill such a prophecy? How could she know who was truly destined by fate to lead? As she pondered this, a fiery thought ignited within her, uncontrollable and bold. Every idea sparked and burned within her, impossible to hold back. She realized the path would not be easy, but she was determined to follow it. Gigi decided to test her fate in a way no one had ever dared before. She would seek out the father of her child by challenging all the eligible men in the village, entrusting herself to them, in hopes of finding the one truly worthy. And with each step, each meeting, new questions would arise. Would she find the man capable of bringing prosperity to the village? Someone who could lead them through the challenges ahead? Every time Gigi met with one of the men, she felt the weight of unseen eyes upon her, the spirits surrounding her, watching every move she made. She could hear echoes from the past, truths never spoken, and in the quiet of the night, when the space was so still that all you could hear was the sound of breathing, shadows seemed to drift through the village like ghosts. Gigi could not escape the feeling that she was being guided by an invisible force, that everything she did was not just for herself, but part of a larger, grander mission. Though the prophecy had laid out the path, Gigi knew that there would be temptations, dangers, and trials waiting for her. She couldn't stop thinking about the unresolved questions, and as she stepped out of Asha's house, the moonlight seemed to signal the events soon to unfold. A new journey was about to begin, one not just for her, but for the entire village. The prophecy had sunk deeply into Gigi's soul, consuming her like a fire that could not be extinguished. She felt it in her bones that the child she bore would decide the fate of the village, and its father would hold the power to lead, to guide the people through dark times. But one huge question loomed. How could she know who the man chosen by fate was, who was worthy of leading and bringing prosperity to the village? And in that moment, an audacious, risky, and challenging idea formed within Gigi, one she could no longer contain. She would not wait for fate to choose. She would make her own destiny. With a strong resolve, Gigi mapped out her plan. She would challenge all the eligible men in the village, leaving no one out. She believed that through each encounter, through each long night, she would find the man who truly carried a grand destiny, someone the ancestors had chosen to lead. These decisions were not mere trials. They were a high-stakes game, where Gigi would venture into bold actions no one could have imagined. At first, the whispers were quiet, like the soft waves brushing the shore at night. But over time, the stories of Gigi spread like wildfire, catching on in every corner of the village. Every time she walked past, the eyes of the men followed, full of suspicion and envy, growing colder with each passing day. At every meeting, every gathering, Gigi's story became the hot topic. The men began to convince themselves that they were the chosen one. No one else could be the father of the child who would decide the village's future. Gigi, with her beauty like an unquenchable flame, continued sharing herself with the men of the village, from the eager young men to the seasoned warriors who had fought in countless battles. They all believed they were the one chosen by fate, that they would rise up to lead and change everything. Yet not everyone agreed with Gigi's bold actions. The women of the village began to whisper behind her back, their eyes filled with jealousy and disbelief. Some admired her, but most felt fear and confusion over Gigi's daring decision. The whispers grew louder, the stories about her swelling like an unstoppable wave. Gigi was not just the most beautiful woman in the village, but also the one who dared to do what no one else would. Her charm, her boldness in her actions, forced everyone to bow their heads in awe. But Gigi's audacity also caused others to feel a deep, creeping fear. People began to wonder, was Gigi going too far? Did she truly understand that this game not only affected her personal fate, but also the future of the entire village? Slowly, doubt and tension began to rise. Could Gigi find the father for her child, the future leader of the village, without losing herself in the process? The realization that no one could predict the outcome made Gigi's journey even more dangerous. More thrilling than ever, her steps were not just those of a mother, but of a woman walking a perilous road, where everything could change in a single moment. As days turned into weeks, Gigi's belly swelled, a clear sign that the prophecy was slowly coming true. The village buzzed with speculation over who the father of the child would be and who would become the leader. Gigi gave birth to a healthy son, Aiden. And while the village celebrated, that joy was short-lived. A new problem arose immediately. Who was the father? The elders convened. Whispers spread quickly, and every family demanded a blood test. The village, once peaceful, now stood on the brink of chaos, each faction desperately trying to hold on to their claims. Amid the storm, Gigi remained calm, her gaze unwavering as she cradled Aiden in her arms. She knew the prophecy would reveal itself in time, but what she didn't anticipate was how dark and twisted the path to the truth would be. The elders gathered beneath the shade of the ancient baobab tree, its towering presence a silent witness to generations past. The roots intertwined like the fates of the people, keeping the secrets of those who had come before. The air grew heavy with anticipation, as though the very earth was bracing for the momentous event to unfold. In the dimming light of dusk, the stern faces of the elders, lined with time's passage, decided on a test that would be impossible to reverse. Only the man truly chosen by fate can make the final decision, declared the chief elder, his voice a long sigh from the past. This journey will be not just a test of the body, but of the spirit. The moonstone atop the sacred mountain will only belong to the one truly worthy. The village fell silent, a weight settling over it, as though all light was drawn to the dark, distant mountain. 6 men, each with their own reasons, each confident they were the chosen one, prepared for the journey. They set off with determined eyes, yet Gigi, standing in the background, felt an unease rising within her. She saw not just determination in their eyes, but something darker, something hidden beneath their steps. This trial would not only reveal the father of Aiden, but it would expose secrets the village had tried to bury for years. When they reached the altar at the foot of the mountain, a voice deep and mystical echoed from the earth, chilling them to the bone. Offer what you value most, and the path will open. The men stepped forward, placing their offerings, gold, heirlooms, treasures, yet nothing happened. The path remained shut tight. Frustration filled the air. Then, Luke, a man known more for his wisdom than his strength, stepped forward. Instead of offering material wealth, he knelt and prayed, not for himself, but for the village, for Gigi, for their shared future. The altar reacted. A radiant light burst forth, and the path to the peak opened before them. Luke, filled with humility and resolve, led the way. The others, realizing that true leadership was about wisdom and sincerity, followed. The climb was arduous, unlike any mountain climb they had faced before. With each step, the physical world seemed to fade, and a higher purpose seemed to draw them closer. At the summit, the Moonstone lay, glowing softly in the moonlight. Luke was the first to touch it. His hands trembled, but as he made contact, the stone flared to life. A voice rang out from the heavens. "Luke, son of Kale, you have proven your worth. The child is yours, and you will lead." The men stood stunned, their rivalry melting away. The truth had been revealed. Yet, Gigi, observing from a distance, felt a chill crawl through her. As Luke lifted the Moonstone high, his eyes met Asha's. A cold glint flashed between them, as if they were sharing a secret no one else could understand. Their smiles were not of joy, but of something darker, more sinister. Gigi couldn't fully understand it, but she knew one thing for certain. The prophecy was far from over. The village erupted in celebration, their faith that the future was secured filling the air. But Gigi, holding Aiden, felt a gnawing doubt creeping into her heart. Something was wrong. As the festivities continued, she overheard a conversation that would change everything. Luke and Asha's voices, laced with guilt, cut through the noise. "We've deceived them all." Luke's voice trembled with regret. "The prophecy was never meant to come this way. It's all a game." Gigi's heart dropped. She had been deceived. The Moonstone wasn't the key to the truth. It had been manipulated. The real father of Aiden was still hidden, cloaked in darkness, frozen. Gigi struggled to comprehend what was happening. Everything she had believed, everything she had thought was true, shattered like a broken mirror. She couldn't let this continue. The lies, the deceit, it was all spilling out. Gigi knew the path ahead would not just be a battle to reclaim the truth, but a battle to free herself from the curses of the past. Determined to expose the truth, Gigi set off on a new journey to find Aiden's real father. She sought out the hermit sage in the ebony forest, a wise man who could see what was hidden. Through perilous trials, Gigi discovered an ancient ritual that could cleanse the Moonstone and reveal the true father. On the night of the new moon, Gigi performed the ritual, submerging the Moonstone in the sacred waters of Whispering Lake. As she chanted the ancient incantations, the stone glowed brightly, and Aiden's true father was revealed. Maisie, a quiet, humble man who had always acted with integrity and never sought power. The revelation sent shockwaves through the village. Mazi, a man who had remained in the shadows, was the true leader. Gigi knew this was just the beginning. The road ahead would be difficult, but now, at least, the village could move forward with the truth in their hearts. As Mazi stepped forward to claim his place, Gigi knew that this was the start of a new chapter for the village. A chapter founded on honesty, wisdom, and the unshakable strength of truth.